Hello everyone, welcome to William and the Magic Box. Today on our show, we are going to have Frankie. Frankie is from Texas in the USA. So let's see what Frankie has to say. Enjoy the interview. So hello
Hi, how are
Frankie, how
you?
are you? I'm very
I'm
well, how are you
wonderful.
today? Good?
I'm amazing. I'm amazing.
So tell me, how's your day going so far?
Day's been pretty good. I woke up kind of early considering that I worked, until 2 a.m. last night.
Oh,
But I got up, I cooked breakfast and made breakfast for my man and then ate and chilled on the couch for a while, watched old videos, did some OnlyFans stuff, did some Instagram posting, trying to get all that together. Just recently got
amazing.
on my shit about it.
Where are you based, Frank? Where are you from?
So I'm from California, but I'm based out of Dallas.
I see.
And yeah, I live in Dallas currently, and I kind of have lived everywhere. I mean, my father took us around, all the United States when we were younger, and he retired in Florida. So I really didn't like living in the town where he retired, so I just kind of started venturing out myself. And I
Wow.
lived in like Jacksonville. I lived in Boca Raton. I lived in Vero Beach. I've lived in Hope Sound, Jupiter Island area. I lived in Tampa for 9 years. That was the longest time. And after Tampa, I kind of just I went to New Orleans. I was kind of started traveling down, to the other coast. And I stopped in New Orleans. My sister lived in Slidell. So I was like, oh, I can see my family. I can still be around, my nieces and nephew. And I hated it in Metairie. I hated New Orleans so much that I lasted a whole 3 months and kept driving. So I went out to Dallas. Yeah, I went out to Dallas and kind of fell in love with Dallas. It's never really been an economic downfall for businesses. So I thought like, oh, I can do something here.
I
So that's what I
see.
did. Yeah.
As you mentioned consider to have a big family, yeah. So tell me,
I
which person in your family you are more close to nowadays?
it's been very competitive in my family kind of all my life, very hateful and spiteful. And this last year, we recently lost my mom, and she was basically the glue that held it all together. And now that she's gone, we kind of have all, you know, kind of lost touch, but we're there on a surface level. But
Mm-hmm.
I would say my little sister, Victoria, I would say I'm the closest to her just because she's very uh, more accepting to my lifestyle and understanding because as she kind of grew up, she's 3 years younger than me,
Mm-hmm.
and she was the first sister besides me to get into dancing. And so I
Wow,
kind of walked her through the ropes and like showed her everything. So I think we had kind of like a different bond than all my other sisters. My other sisters were very judgmental, very just, you know, oh, you're doing this for money, like you're just this and that. And I'm like, whatever, you know.
and
But
what? Yeah, yeah. I think family. There are some people that for one reason or another they're gonna agree with us. The other reason they're gonna disagree. And I think it's all part of the journey for us to grow and become a better person. And and things just go the way it meant to be.
and it's true to that sense, but also like I have seven sisters and one brother.
Oh my
And
God,
like
that's
I
wow.
know. So there's a lot of us. And, you know, everybody has kids that are older than me. And my little sister, Victoria, she has one child. Everybody else has three and four kids. My
Wow.
other two little sisters, they're still too young. They're not married. They don't have kids yet. And, everybody else has kids. So, like, I was the only one that's like of the kid age that didn't pop out a nugget. And, I've been criticized for that. And, like, it is what it is, but if it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it kind of, oh well, it's not like it's the end of my life if I don't pop out a nugget to have a cousin in the family. It's
Frankie,
nice.
tell me
And
what do you do for work, for living?
so recently I kind of quit doing it. I had a little food prep company
Hmm.
and I was a personal trainer. And
Wow.
I've always kind of danced all my life. I've danced, and then I funded, a little company. I built it up, and then kind of got tired of it and did something else. Or I sold the company and did something else because I didn't want to do it anymore. Or, a relationship ended, and, we just split the company and sold it and got out and got away from each other. Um, but right now I'm currently just literally dancing and doing OnlyFans and, doing content creation to make my money. And I've actually just literally recently really got heavy into it last week. So, and it's funny, I started OnlyFans a few years ago. I
Right.
just I just reopened it because I started a new OnlyFans for like all my new stuff, and I forgot about my old OnlyFans page, and I opened it the other day, and I had $500 sitting there, and I forgot all about it. I had no idea it was in there, and when I saw it, I was like, "Oh, it's a nice start to my day." And then I
That's
went to
amazing.
work, and yeah, I went to work, and I ended up making $1,600 at work dancing. So it was really just a great day. And I was tired as hell and in a bad mood, and I didn't want to be touched, and I didn't want to be talked to, and I just, ugh, it was awful night last night, but still, it was
Amazing.
worth it to go.
Great. So during the interview, I'm going to explore a little bit more about your career and also about your life overall. Okay.
Okay.
Frankie, before we start our journey within the magic box, would you like to tell me something interesting about yourself or something that not many people know about you that you could share?
Ooh, okay. July 31st is my sober date of 2023. And I have, I go to a few meetings and think like, oh, I quit the drinking, I'm better, I'm healed. But no, like it is a whole lot more than that. And I didn't realize that until actually not too long ago when my behavior was still, that narcissistic behavior, selfishness, just the lies, the trying to make something seem like it wasn't. And it's just an awful way of living. And I didn't realize how bad it was until, it got bad. So,
Amazing.
but yeah.
Amazing. Great. I'm
Yeah.
glad to hear that you are,
Thank
enjoying
you.
in your life. I think I'm great that we
Yeah.
connected now and you are able to share that.
Yeah, and I
Frankie,
definitely feel a lot better being sober. I didn't realize like, oh, I don't really need a substance, to make myself not think about the outside world. Like I can just do that on my own. Like so
beautiful.
it's been a great journey. It's been a great
Beautiful.
journey.
Frankie, are you ready to go on a beautiful journey through your memories in life and share your point of views?
Okay.
Amazing. Welcome to Ilian and the Magic Box. So I've got here my best friend, okay? Full of random questions.
Your magic box.
Yeah, the Magic Box. So I'm just gonna play a song now, just for us to relax a bit before the first question, okay?
Okay.
Let's do it. Okay. Frankie, before we start the game, during the journey, if it comes up a question that you don't want to talk about for some reason, you don't want to answer, always can change, okay?
Okay, no problem.
Right. First question for you is, what is the funniest or the strangest gift you have ever received?
Oh. I honestly just haven't really received a lot of gifts in my life to that extent. But probably a little weird thing my sister brought back from Israel was like a red piece of string. Yeah, it was like you tie it around your around your wrist, but it was just a red piece of string, and like I'm not from Israel, so I don't really understand, but it was like a symbol. She's Israeli, or she's not Israeli, she's Jewish now. She's converted fully, and that's kind of her culture now. So she brought some things back, and it was really just a weird thing, But yeah, that was probably the weirdest. Yeah, probably the best was a little cheap necklace with a butterfly on it. I'm sorry.
Oh, that's sweet.
And 2 little butterfly earrings. My boyfriend actually got it for me. My mother passed away, and for Christmas, it was really just a cheap little gift, but it meant everything in the world to me because I didn't even know that he knew that butterflies were such a symbol to my mother passing. And it was just so sweet because, it really meant a lot to me. And he wrote a beautiful little note, and it was just really, really sweet. But yeah, that
Oh,
was, that's probably the best.
oh my God, I've got goosebumps now, Frank. Beautiful. That's beautiful. Oh my God, that's amazing. If you can talk or if you can share, when you think about your mom, what's the best memory that comes to your mind that you go like, it makes you smile, it makes you like your heart just, bumping out.
you know,
There's something.
you know, with my mother, she was an absolute, we called her a saint because, and we always used to make the joke, you keep your liver spotted hands off my beautiful mother. She's a saint to my dad because, it was a joke from, a movie. But, my mother was such a saint, like never did any harm to anyone. Like even when we were like joking around, talking, smack about our sisters, or how they wronged me, or how like something bad happened in the family, that my mother would always like make it out to be kind of a joke.
Wow.
And she was just very always uplifting. She was very godly woman, even though I don't believe in the same God that she believes in. Like
Mhm.
we would always combat against that. And always have kind of internal fights about the Bible, and why I didn't believe, and why her what she was telling me didn't really make sense to me, and like nothing in the Bible really makes sense to me. And she was like, you just need to read it again. I was like, I can't keep reading it. Like it's not a book that I enjoy. It's not something that and all my life I was raised to be. I was actually Catholic. I was what's the word, like not christened, but
Christian or not? Catholic.
no,
No.
like in the Catholic Church, like you get your christening.
Ah, yes,
I think it's
yes. When you
yeah,
are a teenager, yes.
yeah. Well, no, it's when you're a baby,
I'll say
and like
the
is
baptism.
it no, baptism is the Christian.
So I'm not
The
sure that.
Catholic, yeah, the Catholic, it's called a christening, and like you do it. And I was going through that, and my mother had, when I was being um you know done the thing from
Yeah.
the priest had licked his thumb, and I guess put it on my lips, and my mother lost it, and she like grabbed me and like literally converted to Christian immediately. And then she,
Wow.
she started raising us in the Christian church, and I went to youth groups, I went to all these things, and because I was required to go, I'd go to the youth groups, and just show up, and like I'd make a joke being there because I didn't really want to be there. Even at a young age, I still didn't believe. I was very, I went atheist at like 14 years old, and just didn't believe, but didn't really understand what atheist was either. I just knew it was not believing in my mom's God.
Right.
And so as I got older, I kind of started learning about Buddhism, and I had become, more, not that I was a Buddhist, but I was more just living my enlightenment life of what I read in the Buddhist community, but I didn't consider myself like a full Buddhist.
I see.
And I just lived like an enlightened life, and just let everything just basically go over my head, and try not to let it bother me, and not to let it get to me in
Amazing.
that sense. So I did that for a while, and then I kind of just even stopped that because I felt like I didn't want to be a part of anything. I just
Right.
wanted to have a higher power that I could talk to without it being like a certain god of a certain culture of a certain anything. I just kind of was just doing me, and obviously that didn't work either because I was diagnosed with bipolar mania, and
Okay.
I got on medications, whatever. I went to therapy, tried to like kind of fix myself, which I thought I did, but still I was drinking, still I was smoking, so I kind of just enjoyed my life and did whatever I wanted. um,
Mhm.
I was married for 13 years. Well,
Wow.
yeah, we're still best friends. We were best friends through even our separation. When he moved out, we were still talking on the phone all the time. And he's a really just amazing human to help me get through what I needed to get through because I was so mentally unstable.
Wow.
Um, and then I realized that it's not just me being mentally unstable. Like I need to get off drugs and like go to AA and like fix myself, because I was doing nothing to do that except showing up to therapy and thinking the medication was going to work one day, which it did. It helped a lot. It
Yeah.
helped with my narcissism and my grandiose, constant thoughts that I had, that I was just better than everybody else. And it did help for a while, but then I had to relearn, basically. And I'm still currently relearning right now. Like I'm still, have my moments. I still, do all these things that is still the behavior of an alcoholic. So I just didn't, I didn't really put two and two together that that's what it was.
Yeah.
But now I haven't been on medication for 5 months now, and I'm feeling better now than I did when I first got medicated.
Wow.
And yeah, I never ever thought that I would be, because I tried to go off the medicine, and like the thought process, the suicidal thoughts, like everything like came right back. And like, yes, I still have those thoughts, but it's just, it's different now. It's a lot different now. And,
it's
yeah,
great. No, sorry. It's great to hear, to listen to you, Frankie, because, people nowadays, there are so many people facing the same situation. Maybe they're still there in the process of, starting a new journey, and see someone so beautiful talking about that, someone who went through that, again, goosebump. And I think it's great to see. So thanks for sharing that. And somehow,
yes, absolutely.
Talking about those, those journeys, it's not just about healing, but it's about helping people as well.
Yeah.
And for sure, people watching this, they're gonna appreciate for sure. Thank you.
I do agree.
Next question. Let's do it. Right. Next question for you is: when have you been the most happy?
Last week. And July 15th was definitely the happiest time I've ever felt in my life. My boyfriend, well, he wasn't my boyfriend at the time. We were just kind of hooking up, and he came over, we hooked up, and then he was going to leave. And, I was kind of like, why are you leaving type situation. And like, he just kind of came over me and asked me, I need to know how you feel about me. And like, I had been in love with him, but I couldn't really tell him, because what we had agreed upon wasn't like to have anything more than what we were having. And I just straight up told him, I was like, listen, I'm so in love with you. Like, I am so in love with you. He's like, I love you too. And like instantly, like we were like, oh, okay. We got up on the couch. We had just amazing, sexual interaction after that. And it was probably the best sex I've ever had in my life. And I fell just completely head over heels for him. And we sat up and we were like, he asked me, he's like, so does this mean, and I was like, boyfriend and girlfriend? And like, we've just kind of, been together and doing this thing ever since. And it was definitely one of the happiest times in my life. Like internally, I just felt, because he's just such a non-judgmental person, and I still am, I'm trying not to be, but just very, I growing up, I was like very slut shamed and like, taught how to be hateful towards certain things and certain ways of life, just because the way I was raised. I was literally raised to cook, clean, and make babies. Like that's what my purpose in life was, from my father, because my mother was just a housewife. She wasn't allowed to work. She wasn't allowed to leave the house. She wasn't allowed to kind of do anything. And I didn't realize how controlling he was until, I got married and was in the same situation, but I felt I had chose to be there. So like, this was what I had to do. And, it kind of changed with him, because he was very non-judgmental and just wanted me to explore my sexuality and explore my life and just, enjoy every aspect of life. And for the first time, that was so new to me, like so new to me. And, I recently just, made some bi content for the first time with, 2 guys. And it was one of the best experiences I've ever had in my life, because I'd never been in that situation before, for fear of, the judgment, and for, just just the outcome of what might happen, what my family might say, and I no longer care about what my family might say because it's not about them. It's about me and living my best life and enjoying what I truly want in life. I do not have to live my life for them anymore. And I didn't realize I was doing that for so long. And it's very hard to do that. You know, you have to keep, you know, a certain way of life and make people think that you're one way when really in your head you're thinking something completely different. And, you know, you can't say it and you can't do it because your fear of being shamed and disowned from the family, which I have been disowned from the family many times over stupid things. And I was scared of in reality, I guess
I
you
see.
could, yeah, I didn't want to deal with like confrontation, and I'd rather just sweep everything under the rug instead of, you know, confronting it. And I've done that with most everything in my life, and I didn't realize that until starting to go to AA and starting to, you know, realize like this is not the way to live your life. Like there's got to be something better. There's got to be something different. So yeah, I'm doing that currently.
Amazing. Thanks for sharing, Frankie. I think those, I know people, they have so many, you know, confrontation in our own family, and most of the time it can be difficult to deal with because it involves a lot of emotions, a lot of things as well that you don't understand.
Yeah, absolutely.
Ready for another question?
Yes.
Let's do it. Next one. Right. So before the next question, if you can share, you know, when was the idea to start creating adult content? That was how it was presented to you.
So my thoughts about doing it was in 2020. I had, you know, obviously made my first OnlyFans page, the one that, you know, I found all that money in the other day. And I was just kind of doing my niche because I had danced for so long. And I've been dancing since I was 17. I used my sister's ID to go get a job. And I had been dancing for very young. And you know, I realized that I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed the art of seduction. And I couldn't let people know that because I was feared of being judged for it. And finally, now being with my boyfriend that I'm with, you know, I kind of am able to explore that in a way that I feel just comfortable and like I'm able to finally do what I want to do without any judgment. And I just started off, you know, with that OnlyFans, it was like a foot fetish page. And, you know, I had a lot of guys that were into my feet, whatever. And so they would just, you know, send me money for pictures of my feet. And I had like an Instagram for it. And that's kind of how I had made a lot of my money, from meeting guys at the club, showing them my page, and then, you know, wanting like extra little videos and stuff, you know, for money. So I really enjoyed doing that, but it was nothing like super sexual to the point where like my, you know, my ex at the time felt that I was doing anything wrong. But I wanted more, and I really enjoy I enjoy going out with sugar daddies and like going to dinner and going to have, you know, fun time for money. And it's not like I'm desperate for the money, but I enjoy it because it's great money and it's easy money, and it's, you know, it's more satisfying to me than going and working a 9-to-5 job. And I have not worked a 9-to-5 job since I was 18. Like I've always had my own companies and always, you know, done my own thing, but I have always supplementally danced in between those times. So, I mean, I've done a lot of different things, like all kinds of different things, you know, for work. And one of my main things I did when I was in Tampa, I opened up a promotional company, and I was working for like Budweiser, Fireball, you know, different alcohol brands, and just doing promotions at different bars. And I really, really enjoyed that because I was bartending on the side because my ex-husband, you know, really didn't feel comfortable with me dancing, but never told me like, hey, don't dance. I just, for him, you know, I respected the fact that he didn't really, you know, want men touching all over my body. So I kind of chilled. I just started bartending, but I was still, you know, flirting, and, you know, I love that interaction with men. And so I could still do that doing the promotions. So different bars, you know, I'm getting tips, you know, here and there. Like, it's just such a great you know, feeling for me, um, I don't know if you call it being sexualized, but I enjoy it. Like, I enjoy the art of seduction and turning men on and, you know, feeling that for money. Like, it is a turn on for me. And I didn't realize how bad it was until I got with my man that I'm with now. And things have just been so different because he supports me and like he's doing it too. So it's like, you know, we can come home, we can talk about it and, you know, say the things that happen at the club and we're able to like just communicate. And for the first time, even in that sense, like I'm communicating. Like I would just not for fear of being judged or whatever the case was at the time. You know, I just kind of went into a shell for a while there and, you know, I think that's why I had become so mentally unstable too, because I was, you know, having other thoughts of what I wanted to do, but didn't want to hurt anybody by, you know, doing it. So I just kind of put it on the back burner and, you know, just became what I needed to be in my marriage. And, you know, yeah, it was a different situation that I'm in now. And I wouldn't change it for the world. I literally wouldn't. It's
Amazing.
been such.
Next question for you is, what motivates you the most in life?
Money.
Always been?
It's been on and off.
Okay.
I thought for a while there it was I had to you know, get married and have a kid and do this. And in 2012, you know, I had cancer on my ovary and I was very lucky because I had polycystic ovarian syndrome, which I had 10 unnecessary surgeries. Well, I feel they were unnecessary. The doctors didn't feel they were unnecessary, but I had developed endometriosis, which I was bleeding 28 days out of the month for almost, you know, 2 years. And it had gotten so bad that I was like bedridden for almost 6 months.
Oh.
And when I went for my last surgery, you know, they found the tumor and I did the last surgery. And by the time I had scheduled the surgery, I talked to my mom. She's very homeopathic. You know, we got on diatomaceous earth and I started taking MSM. I started taking DHEA and like some miracle reason, it pushed the tumor off my ovary and encapsulated itself in my scar tissue from my polycystic ovarian syndrome, which when they removed all the scar tissue, they removed the tumor inside of the scar tissue. And I never had to do any chemotherapy, never had to do anything. They never found any traces of even my polycystic ovarian syndrome anymore. I have no more endometriosis. The doctors can't even find traces of it. So like, I don't know if my mom was just like a miracle worker or.
Oh. It's fine. I think those tears are tears of being grateful and being thoughtful, you know. And as you said, miracles, you know, they are happening every day out there, and you never know. And sometimes people got touched by it, and you just, you know, those moments when even the medicine or doctors or people around can explain. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think it's just meant to be for you. And one day maybe you realize that, or maybe you're never gonna understand. But it meant to be for you somehow, for sure. And that's how life. Sometimes it's hard. Life is hard, but at the same time as well, it's a big gift that sometimes, you know, we don't even understand.
Yeah, and I've been super sensitive about it in this last month because March 23rd is coming up on a year of my mother passing. And yeah, it flew by. I don't even know where the time went. I feel like it was just yesterday, you know? So
what was her name?
Dorothy.
I'm sure Miss Dorothy, wherever she is right now, she's literally smiling, seeing this beautiful young lady in front of me here, just sharing those beautiful moments and emotions right now, for sure. I'm sure she's smiling right now.
And I do agree because, you know, I feel like she's always around me and with me, you know, in everything that I've been doing as of lately, supporting me from wherever she is. But I know that she's, you know, wherever she is, her sister passed from cancer as well, back when she was very young. And I know they're just up there together, just or wherever they are, just having the best time of their life, you know.
For sure, for sure. And I'm
Yeah,
sure
yeah,
I'm sure you are feeling so strong right now, Frankie, in the time of your life because of that as well. I think,
yeah.
sometimes when our loved ones, for some reason, they go, but at the same time as well, we feel the strongest. There's this strength that comes to us that we don't even understand how strong we can be. And
I do
sometimes
agree.
it connect with those sad situations that it happened. So yeah, yeah. Oh,
I do agree. I do agree 100%. I have become much stronger, and I know my mother will be so proud of how far I've come just getting
I'm
sober
sure.
alone.
I'm sure. I'm sure.
Yeah, I do
Beautiful,
agree.
beautiful, Frank. I love it. Right, I have 3 questions left. Okay, let's do it.
Okay.
Next question for you is, what are you most passionate about?
Healing myself.
Right.
You know,
Wow.
I think for so long, I thought it would just happen,
Hmm.
and it doesn't. It takes work. It takes a lot of work and a daily reminder, and just you know a whole new learning process that I didn't know I needed to learn, because I thought, meds would just heal me. I thought therapy would heal me. I thought this would heal me and that would heal me. But no, it's AA and hearing people's stories that makes me realize that I'm really not special. Like, everybody has the same problems. May it be different.
Yeah.
Everybody is dealing with something on a different level, on a different, basis, that I'm not special. I need to do the work to fix myself and fix my, mental instability, my selfishness, and my, just my thought process alone. Like, it's not right because of the way I was raised and because of the way that I have been living my life in general.
Hmm.
I feel like that, you know, it not only took a lot out of me, because it's so much easier just to do the right thing and not have to constantly, like, defend yourself, or figure out, what needs to be said to make other people feel better, or, think one way about you so that you didn't get embarrassed or you didn't get, like, ashamed or something like that.
Hmm.
So I think definitely that.
Amazing. Great. 2 questions left. Let's do it. Before the next question, create adult content. You interact with a lot of people. Of course, there are a lot of people that you see that you feel attracted to. And if you could choose anyone like to collaborate with for any reason, if you could choose, okay, if I maybe we one day, if you could choose for any reason, who that person would be and why?
Probably the man I'm with. In every single sense, way, shape, and form. He makes me feel so uplifted and so powerful, and that I can do it on my own. I don't really need somebody's opinion to make me feel like it's okay to do what I'm doing.
Hmm.
And that has really became, such a big part of my life, to enjoy what I want to do and not live my process of life, through somebody else's eyes. And just, it's been very, very healing for me as well. Like, even, you know, just everything that he does for me, making me feel, secure about, anything in our relationship, just to the point of, even like, if he's with somebody or I'm with somebody, like, learning that I needed to talk about it versus feel ashamed for having those feelings, or the feelings of attraction, or like, even just, anything that I did in the back room at the club. Like, it's not it's not like it should be a shameful thing, you know, because it's really not. It's really just not. Every hundreds and thousands of people are doing it every day, and it's not like it should be shamed upon. But that's all I did in my past. So that's what I thought about myself, you know, because
Right.
all I did was shame people for doing this and shame people for having a body count and shame people for this. And, you know, just it was an awful way of thinking and living. And, you know, he's brought me to the light of understanding that it doesn't need to be like that. It needs, you know, it doesn't need to be like that. And it's so wonderful to have that in my life as a constant, reoccurring, daily situation. And yeah, yeah, it's probably the best.
Beautiful, beautiful. Remember, have the interview with Crush, yeah, your, as you say, your man, yeah, and
Yeah,
he, you know, when he was talking about you, the way you path crossed, and the way you understand each other, the way there are no judgmental, the talk, you know, I think it
yeah,
was so powerful. And I'm gonna tell you something, Frankie. Of course, I'm a gay guy. I understand. I'm understanding more about sexuality. Every interview here I do, it's so interesting. And I must confess to you, Frankie, sorry, Crush, he made me understand in a better level about being bisexual, pansexual. I had so many people explain to me, but the way he explained, you are a big part of it as well, because somehow, you know, it's a real story, and you made him understand a lot of things, and opposite, well, you did the same.
yeah,
And after, he was kind of educating me here. I don't know if I mentioned, I was like, oh my God, I'm understanding more about that, because all of us sometimes you think we understand things, yeah, but sometimes talking to
right.
someone so open about it, and you know, and they open our minds even more. And I
A
think, you
hundred
know,
percent.
absolutely, it was amazing to have a conversation. Now I'm talking to you, and I can, you know, it's like just a
Yeah, and
sign there.
yeah, and he's done the same for me. Like there were so many things that I thought were the correct way of thinking, and
Yeah,
then when, you know, he explained to me in detail, like why do you think like that, like what, and then would explain something to me, I'm like, damn, why do I think like that? You know what, because my father told me. You know, I was
wow, yeah,
raised that
yeah,
way, and like
absolutely,
that's all that I knew growing up. And like my friends in, you know, I didn't go to high school, but my friends that I did sports at high school, and like my
yeah,
friends would shame me if like I made out with 10 guys. I'm like, I'm a makeout whore, like I love to make out. And like I would get shamed for it and called a slut and called, like, you know, talked bad about throughout the, you know, school and all my friends. And then they didn't want to be friends with me because I would like make out with a bunch of guys or girls, like whatever it was. And my
yeah,
first relationship was a girl. Like at 17 years old, when I was in the club, like I was dating a girl for like 8 months. And she had, you know, our first situation with a male. You know,
right.
I wasn't ready for intercourse like that with a man. So I just let her do her thing, and like I kind of just watched and sat back and watched, and I was like, you know, I guess I could do this. You know, I didn't think like, you know, it was very different growing up because I was just so sheltered.
Mhm.
And knowing what I know now and learning what I've learned from Crush,
Amazing.
it's so different, so different. It's unbelievable to
That's
know what
amazing.
I know now. Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
Very good. Okay. Next question is, what did you want to be growing up?
Oh, what did I want to be growing up? You know, honestly, when I was younger, I wanted to be just a housewife because that's what my mother was. And
Wow.
then as I got older and realized how hard it was for my mother, dealing with it, my mother used to like even make our clothes so we all match outfit. And like once my once my fourth sister was born, and it was always, you know, it was always my two older sisters, and then I was a third born. And
Right.
my dad does have one older daughter from his first marriage, but we didn't meet her till she was 18 years old. So it was
Mhm.
growing up, I knew nothing about her. So it was always, you know, my two older sisters would be buddy buddy, and I would be, you know, I'm the third born, so I was like kind of the outcast. And so I kind of gravitate to my dad and like be his special daughter, as my sisters would call it, and, have special privileges because I went everywhere with him. I did everything with him. I learned how to build a house from like the foundation up at a very young age. I always just went to work with him remodeling houses, remodeling bathrooms, and just doing all that. I was like the worker bee, and my dad obviously wanted a boy, so I think he kind of raised me as a boy. And
Amazing.
yeah, so in that sense, still, I was okay. I'm the third born, so now I'm my dad's special daughter, and then my mother, the next daughter, was born at 1 year old. She was diagnosed with Wilms tumor, which is cancer in the kidney. And so my mother was in the hospital with her basically the first, 3 years of her life, and I didn't really see my mother very much. So then I became even more of my dad's like special daughter. And it got even worse because I had nobody else. Like my sisters didn't want to play with me, so I would just go hang out with my dad. And
Oh,
then my next little sister was in my mom's belly when my mom was still, going through chemotherapy with my other sister. So those two daughters were raised as twins basically because Victoria is the one who had the cancer, and she, her growth was stunted from the chemotherapy. So they were literally growing as twins, both nursing. My mom was still nursing the one at 4 years old, and now my baby sister is 2 years old. My mom's pregnant again, and so
wow.
she weans both of them off at the same time. Has her first boy, and so when that first boy was born, my dad kind of forgot about me, and now he has a boy. So that's the prince, and you know I would still always be outcast, and at that time I just needed to find my own way because I didn't feel like I had a place in my own home.
Absolutely.
And so I did that, and then when my next baby sister was born, we were already in Florida, and she was like the baby of the family. So my dad had her. My dad had his boy now, and now my mom had a new baby, and so my two little sisters had each other. My two older sisters had each other, and I really just had nobody. So
Oh,
yeah,
oh
so
my
that
God.
was kind of hard, growing up. Yeah.
Absolutely. Oh my God. I think that no any girls in the world are ready for these effects, that you're not connected with anyone. You
Yeah.
are on your own. And I'm sure
Yeah.
nobody like young age, they are not, as you said. It's interesting, Frankie, because the way you talk about your dad, the way you talk about him, I can see, of course, a little bit of not understand anger, I would say, but at the same time as well, I think there was a lot of love there, like a lot. And
I
somehow,
definitely agree.
I'm sure because the way you say, I can see that the love was so intense, and suddenly the love was shared and not got back to you anymore. And that's
Yeah.
where I think, and in a way as well, he couldn't give back this love anymore. So what I understand the love sometimes they walk at the same time with the anger, the hate, and everything. And I can see there is so much love between both of you, but at the same time as well, there's something there that went over the way. You know what I mean? Just went
Right.
away. And it's
Right.
visible there because I can see your heart full of love. Like there was this, girl had this dad all the time around, and he was your father figure. He was the biggest proud figure you have around. As you said, you were raised as a boy that he wanted to have. Somehow he saw that on you because you are a strong person. You always been a strong person, and of course, a dad somehow they connect with those young strong child. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
And in that sense too, like as I got older, I was the only one in the family who never like moved back home or like asked for help financially or anything.
so
I
strong,
always just at 17 years old, I left and basically never returned.
wow.
And yeah, I think maybe that was hard for him to realize
For
that I
sure,
didn't need him
for sure. I have,
because
I
I
have those.
wanted I wanted to prove that I could do it on my own without him, just because of the way he made me feel when I was living in the house. So
Absolutely. Frankie, if I must say to you, I think, as I said, I'm just saying here with this moment I'm feeling right now, but I think your dad is very proud of you. I feel it. I think he feels so proud that he doesn't know how to handle it. You know what I mean? He doesn't know
and
how to handle
and and I do know that for a fact because when he talks to his friends, like he brags about me and all the things I built in the house and all the things, I've done. So I always took that into consideration, like, oh, okay, he does love me. But no, he loved me because of the things that I did for him. you know?
Yeah.
I saved the house. When he filed for bankruptcy, like I paid the money every month for, 14 months to save the house
It's,
so that they didn't lose it. I paid the tax deed so that he could continue to, make a living on the house because now it's turned into an Airbnb. And
wow.
none of my other sisters could afford to, but since I had the income of dancing and having my own companies at a very young age, I was the only one that was able to financially support him for that long a period.
I see.
And yeah, and then in the end, I feel like I was literally just taken advantage of over and over and over again with you know, no remorse for his actions, and I don't need that in my life anymore. So yeah, I think that's kind of why I'm okay with cutting it off finally, and I've cut him off many times. My family has like reached out to me and be like, "Oh, you need to talk to Dad. He's feeling bad," and I don't feel that way anymore. I don't feel like, I need to come back again because it's never been a successful situation. It was always
Frankie,
when I came back, it was because I was doing something for him or he needed me to do something. So it was
Frankie,
very hard.
from my heart, I just wish one day, for any reason, I don't know, you and him, I'm not wishing anything like to get back. No, no, I'm not saying that. I just hope one day he got to his thought like together and somehow, you know what I mean? Even though you don't have a connection anymore, but somehow one day, something, I don't know, comes out of it because I don't know, I can feel so much emotions through this interview and, it's just so it's beautiful to see such a strong woman, you know what I mean? And I totally understand your point. Actually, they say this, the most strongest people, they are the most like breakable, like they are very sentimental, they can break easily, and it's so visible right now
Yeah.
because to be honest with you, when I start the interview, I'll never in my life I'll think that we would be that emotional, and it's so beautiful to
I
see
didn't either.
such.
I'm sorry.
No, I love it. I love it. I think it's so beautiful to see someone so strong at the same time, you know what I mean, so easily emotional. And I think that's what makes people beautiful because, you know what I mean? People see this woman, like, beautiful, strong, and suddenly, on the other side, it's literally a fragile person like everyone else. And you never expect that. So that's what I like the most about the show. It's about people here. They come here and somehow this show make them just open up a little bit. And I love it.
Yeah.
I think it's beautiful.
You did that.
Oh, beautiful. Last question. Let's do it. Right. So before the last question, just to touch a little bit more in this topic. If you have the superpower, let's say you come up to you, okay, you have the superpower to erase, all those, let's say, moments in your life that you didn't understand in your childhood for you was difficult to deal with. If you had a superpower to, okay, let me take everything out of my life, knowing the person you are right now, would you take it or would you keep it?
I would 100% keep it because everything that happened in my life has brought me to the now and brought me to the realizations that I've, overcome and realized how, things have happened in my life for a reason. My mother passing, brought crush to me and I couldn't be happier. I'm sorry.
Oh, it's okay.
I
It's
really
okay.
couldn't. Yeah, I wouldn't change a thing because I would have never met Crush. I wouldn't
Um,
change a thing.
Crush, you made a big thing in her life, Crush, and I hope you can hear
I
that.
have headphones and he can't
I
hear you,
know,
but he
I
is over
know,
there.
I know. He gonna see the interview one day, and he gonna see how special. I think it's great how people cross our life, or and sometimes it just we feel the best of ourselves. I'm so glad to hear. I'm so glad that he crossed the show, and now we are here having this moment. And I
Yes,
think
me too, me too.
it's meant to be today our interview. Last question is: if you could be any age, yeah, for the rest of your life, what age that be would and why?
33. Being a third born, my mother always told me it was my angel numbers because all of my life I have just randomly seen the number 3 or 33 or 333
Oh my god.
everywhere, like every single where. So that is why when my mother passed, I got 3 butterflies on my breast, and just I was her third born daughter, and 3 has always just symbolized, my space in her life. and to see it everywhere I go, it just pops up like random. I have hundreds of screenshots on my phone that says 3:33. Like every time I look at my phone, it'll be like 3:33. I'm like, how? That's so crazy. Like it keeps popping up in my life. So yeah, I think that.
Frankie,
But
I'm not telling
but I wish at 33 I would, know what I know now.
that's the wish of
Don't want to
everyone.
change that either.
I'll tell you something now. A big coincidence between you and me. For me, the number 3 always be in my life. I'll tell you something. Before when I was a teenager, a friend of mine, her dad is a professional astrologer, and he did my astro map, and he said to me, William, your number 3 is your lucky number. And it's so interesting because when he told me that, he said, okay, for some reason I knew already. You're also a teenager. And he said, not just 3, 33, 13, 20, 23, And I'll tell you, if I could tell you so many like dates in my life that it was 13, like I moved to Europe when I was 13 of March. I moved to London on 13 of something. I started my new job on the 3rd of something. So there's always a lot of occasions in my life connected with 3. And it's so interesting because and sometimes, if I'm going to start something new, and it's so normal for me to happen because sometimes, I start something, or I'm going to do something special occasion, and I just realized after, so I'm going to do, it was that date. So it's so connected. It's crazy. It's
Yeah,
crazy.
same. Even my mother passing on 3/23/23.
Oh my God, really?
Yeah, yeah,
Oh my God.
yeah. I know.
What's your star
I
sign
know.
astrology just by curiosity?
What does that mean? Like a Taurus?
Yeah, yes, star signs
Okay.
astrology. Taurus.
Okay. Yeah, I'm a Taurus.
Oh wow, May or April?
May 17th.
Amazing, amazing. Okay, right. It's not age yet. Let's play now the word association game. Okay, I'm going to give away some words. Just one word that comes to your mind. Keep thinking. Okay. Let's start with family. One word.
I want it, but I
Okay.
don't.
Actually, you do. Actually, you do. Just close to you. I know.
I want this family, but I don't want mine.
I said. One word for money.
Make as much of it as I can, you know?
Love.
Definitely a spiritual connection on a different level that I never knew was there.
Okay. One word for life.
Live it to its fullest and don't let anybody hold you back by shaming you.
Okay. Sex.
Have as much of it as you can and enjoy yourself the most you can.
One word for politics. Okay. Fear.
Fix yourself, because you wouldn't have
Religion.
fear if.
Oh, sorry.
You wouldn't have fear if if you fix yourself. There's no fear of fixing yourself, so you feel better about it.
I say.
But religion,
Okay.
I really don't have any.
Okay.
Any aspect on that.
Okay. One word for friendship. Just one word.
Uplifting.
Okay. Desire.
Love.
Okay. Regrets.
Selfishness.
Success.
Damn, a lot of words come to mind. I mean, what I want out of life.
Okay. Happiness.
An everyday occurrence.
One word for wish.
That my mother was still here. I know that wasn't one word, but.
Okay. One word for California.
Don't want to go back.
One word for Texas.
I love it.
Okay. USA, one word.
Needs help.
One word for dancer.
Money.
And the last one now, adult content creator, one word.
Good times.
Amazing. Okay, let's pretend now if I had the chance to meet your mom for a coffee and I would ask her, define Frankie in one positive word and one negative word only, what she would say?
Probably outgoing, social butterfly.
Okay.
Negative would be what would she say about me negative? I don't know. Maybe oh no, I moved away. You know.
Okay.
She didn't like that very much.
Right, let's play now, Frankie, and the magic box, and you can ask me a question. Okay, Frankie, you can ask me a question now.
What made you get into doing that?
Because I knew one day I would meet you here and you'd cry a lot in my interview.
You mother.
I'm joking.
or brother, whatever.
No, I think that I love it. I don't know if you know, but you know the question that Frank asked me. I don't know if you saw the interview. If I was top or bottom, he made me blush all the way when he asked me that. He asked if I was top or bottom.
I'm done. I'm sorry about him.
It's okay. He put me in spot big time. And
but actually, I want to know the answer. I want to know the answer too.
You need to watch the interview. I love it. You know what? And it was Valentine's Day. It couldn't be a better question for Valentine's Day when we did the interview. It was crazy. Right. So back to your question. I think, Frankie, I could say that, when you're talking about, you find yourself, doing the job that you do right now, that you don't feel any shame, you don't feel any, you just feel the best of yourself. And I think 2020 was a year for people to, of course, was a very tragical year. People, they was very sad. People had a lot of sadness. But at the same time as well, people, they found a way to, to recreate themselves, reinvent themselves, and find a way to live.
True.
Absolutely. And 2020 in England, we could leave the house once a day for a run, like for exercise outdoors. And one of those runs, this idea came along, and you have no idea how, it was the best run of my life, I would say, because it's this idea came along, and to connect with people, it's the best thing that it could ever happen to me. Seeing other people talk so open about their lives, open up, helping other people, healing, a lot of things. I think, the Magic Box, it's a place where people, they, for some reason, they just feel their best, and they just somehow they express the way they are. And it's beautiful.
Share their magic.
I know, the magic just happens somehow. So I'm so fortunate to be here, sitting here, and connect with amazing people around the world, and let my guests sharing experiences, and also connect with other people as well. So thanks so much for taking the time. Thanks for being so open. I'm so glad you had this moment today, because, it was a part of understanding, a part of, sharing, healing, and all of the emotion that we have right now. So thanks so much for being so kind and accept my invitation.
Thank you for reaching out to me.
Amazing.
Absolutely. Thank you for reaching out to me. It was a wonderful little meeting with you.
Amazing.
I'm very happy. I'm very happy to be chosen.
Amazing. Before you go, if you can share a positive message or anything that you live by.
You leave it for today, you leave it for tomorrow.
Amazing. Beautiful. Short and sweet. Thank you so much. Regards to Crush, and you guys have a lovely weekend. Okay, it was a pleasure to have you on the show. Okay, thanks so much.
Absolutely. He says hi too.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye. So, did you like the show? Don't forget to give a like, to share it, and also don't forget to subscribe to the channel. And if you'd like to be part of the show as well, first, subscribe to our channel, and after that, just go to our website, www.williamandthemagicbox.com and send us a request saying why would you like to be part of the show. And I see you there. Bye bye. See you next time.